I have been loving the shenanigans of the press office for Gavin Newsom and Gavin Newsom's page as well. They have been calling Stephen Miller, they've been calling him a fascist for the past few days. And here we have a picture, just in case you need to take a screenshot of this picture. The classic Cinderella scene where this man is putting a shoe on Cinderella's foot. But in this case, it's Stephen Miller's foot, and the shoe says fascism. So basically, if the shoe fits. You definitely need this meme too. Please take this and use this somewhere. Democrat, right to jail. Call Trump or Miller a fascist, jail. Have a brain, jail. You're going to jail for just about anything for having any kind of sense. I thought that was hysterical. Please take that and use it somewhere. Underneath this post, basically calling Stephen Miller a fascist, so Jacked, who I'm assuming is MAGA, posted this directly underneath that picture that was calling Stephen Miller a fascist, basically saying that what the press office of Gavin Newsom is doing is stochastic terrorism. This is honestly projection, because this is what Donald Trump and MAGA are doing, the way they are trying to incite civil war and all of that. But this definition of stochastic terrorism is very important. Stochastic terrorism is a form of political violence instigated by by a hostile public rhetoric directed at a group or an individual. Unlike incitement to terrorism, stochastic terrorism is accomplished with indirect, vague, or coded language, which grants the instigator plausible deniability for any associated violence. Nothing that they are doing in mocking Trump, mocking Stephen Miller, or mocking MAGA is a call to terrorism, unlike what MAGA is doing, where they are directly calling for civil war, where they are directly saying we need to jail people and round people up, where they are sending their ICE Gestapo units to pick people up. They are engaging in domestic terrorism. So, but he put that out there. This is important for you to know this term. Evangeline responded to that man saying that's exactly what Charlie Kirk did and what Stephen Miller does and what Fox Entertainment does every effing day. Thanks for pointing this out, even though the other person was talking about the press office. Y'all have got to look. If you're not looking at your phone, please look at it. This person right here, the whole tweet says Stephen Miller is based, and they got this jacked up picture of Stephen Miller where he looks so super duper strong. The way these people use AI is hysterical, because Stephen Miller in real life looks like a dweeb, and they got this, they still got the bald head, they got that, but the rest of this is just hysterical. Look at this chiseled jawline. This is hilarious. This is hilarious. Please take this and use it and laugh at something. Show this picture and just laugh with your friends. So remember this tweet from the press office saying Stephen Miller is a fascist. And to that, Laura Loomer, of all people, this is a person that has been stoking the flames of all kind of violence, saying, so much for turning down the temperature. When are we going to admit that Gavin Newsom is one of the ringleaders for the assassination culture? He's deliberately trying to get Trump officials taken out. I truly believe it. These people are ridiculous. This is how the press office responded to that, saying, is this turning the temperature down, Laura? Sending armed Marines into American cities, calling Democrats a terrorist organization, using the DOJ to go after political opponents, limiting free speech, saying speaking out loud is blood libel, creating an enemies list. And he does have an enemies list, and he accidentally posted it to his live social page, and he is going after his political rivals. He's firing people that were just doing their job when he was performing all kind of crimes. These people are not turning the temperature down. They are turning the temperature up. And people fighting back against that is what they're supposed to do. We're not supposed to just lay down and accept fascism. The government shutdown is looming. This is going to be on the hands of Republicans because they have Congress. They have both the Senate and the House. They have the presidency. They have the Supreme Court. They have everything. But the White House is still trying to lay blame on the Democrats' feet. So this is from the White House. It says, Democrat-led shutdown will put law enforcement lives on the line without pay. without pay. He's talking about this. This is what the White House is saying. But remember, the Republicans have the House and the Senate. And then they post this screenshot. It says Democrat-led shutdown. Okay, we already said that. So we got the picture. We got the Democrats. They are trying to blame the Democrats. So Gavin Newsom says, sad to see Grok is smarter than the White House. The question was asked, which party currently has control of the U.S. government? And it says, as of September 27th, the Republican Party holds a trifecta, controlling all three branches of the U.S. federal government, the executive branch under Donald Trump, the Senate with a 53-47 majority, and the House of Representatives with a slim 220 to 213 majority. This marks the first Republican trifecta since 2017 to 2019. So if they could just govern within themselves and get something worked out within themselves, they wouldn't have a shutdown. This is going to be on the Republicans' hands. Donald Trump took to his Lie Social page to have this ridiculous post talking about the Democrats want transgender for everybody and $1 trillion for illegal immigrants and stuff. And so that gives his people the propaganda to make posts and just regurgitate that silliness. So this person says, news scam, Democrat shutdown demands. Over $1 trillion in new spending for healthcare for illegals, refunding NPR, taxpayer-funded gender swap surgery for minors, open borders, and men and women's sports. They will just keep saying this over and over like this is what the Democrats are asking for, which is absolute silliness, is absolute BS. So the press office put out this post. It says, Trump is about to shut down the government and rip healthcare from 20 million Americans. What's he doing? Posting AI-generated slop about miracle hospital beds that cure all illness. Donald Trump has lost it. And so we got this tweet right here. It says, Trump tonight appears to have pushed the false med bed conspiracy theory, which has spread in the far-right internet over the years, according to Yahoo. So he is pushing QAnon conspiracies. This dude has lost it. I went over to Trump's Lie Social page, and this is one of his posts from today. It was great being with King Charles, Queen Camilla, and the royal family. So I'm posting this because I hadn't had the opportunity to use this picture just yet. And y'all needed to see this. Please take this picture and use it for something. Someone needs this for some reason. Please look at the screen if you're not and take this screenshot. Donald Trump made this post this morning. Make crime illegal again. At what point was crime not illegal? Why is he posting this at 7:23 in the morning? And something else he is posting about Robert De Niro. He posted this yesterday at 6:46 p.m. He made a post about Robert De Niro. He reshared this from Red Line Report. Did you stop watching Robert De Niro movies, yes or no? Why is this important? Why is this on the President of the United States Lie Social page? What does this have to do with anything? His page is full of silliness. Let's go back over to the press office. Carol Lyon Levitt made this post yesterday night saying, as the September 30th government funding deadline looms, the Trump administration is warning that millions of Americans could lose flood insurance coverage if Democrats refuse to back a House-passed spending bill that also extends the National Flood Insurance Program. The press office reshared Carol Lyon Levitt's tweet and then shared this Politico screenshot saying, Trump read all the they're asking for. And he said, on second thought, go F yourself. All right, so it says, Democrats, funding deal must include extending existing health coverage for 20 million Americans. Carol Lyon Levitt says, go F yourself. Actual quote. So the press office for Gavin Newsom said, Breitbart got it right for once. And you know Breitbart is the right-leaning publication. It says Gavin Newsom allows California doctors to prescribe termination pills anonymously to skirt red state laws. And so they're putting that out there like being pro-choice is a bad thing. And so he said Breitbart got it right. As I get out of here, Donald Trump is saying that Democrats are being ridiculous. They're unserious. They're pushing for transgender for all. They want illegal aliens to have $1 trillion in medical funding, blah, blah, blah. I'm attaching a letter of what the Democrats are asking for. All right, this is the Democrats' letter. You see the Congress seal at the top. It says September 20th, 2025. Dear President Trump, we write to demand a meeting in connection with your decision to shut down the federal government because of the Republican desire to gut the health care of the American people. At your direction, Republican congressional leaders have repeatedly and publicly refused to engage in bipartisan negotiations to keep the government open, notwithstanding the fact that partisan Republican spending bill has been defeated. The GOP majorities in the House and Senate have skipped town and abdicated their responsibility to fund the government. Democrats have been clear and consistent in our position. We are ready to work toward a bipartisan spending agreement that improves the lives of American families and addresses the Republican healthcare crisis. However, we will not support a dirty spending bill that continues the Republican assault on healthcare, which includes devastating Medicaid and Medicare cuts, skyrocketing premiums, copays, and deductibles. The refusal to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits, unprecedented attacks on medical research and the public health system, the suppression of vaccine availability, and the forced closure of hospitals, nursing homes, and community-based health clinics nationwide. With the September 30th deadline fast approaching, Republicans will bear responsibility for another painful government shutdown because of the refusal of GOP congressional leadership to even talk with Democrats. As a result, it is now your obligation to meet with us directly to reach an agreement to keep the government open and address the Republican healthcare crisis. The cost of living in our country is way too high. Tens of millions of Americans are on the brink of their healthcare costs increasing by thousands of dollars per year, risking bankruptcy for many families. We do not understand why you prefer to shut down the government rather than protect the healthcare and quality of life of the American people. Thank you for your prompt attention to this matter. Sincerely, Hakeem Jeffries, House Democratic Leader, and Chuck Schumer, Senate Democratic Leader. So that's the thing. Absolutely nothing in this letter. I was right. I was right when I said I bet you nothing that Donald Trump said in that Lie Social post was in this. The fact that Democrats are using this as a way to try to claw back some of the protections that the one big beautiful BS of a bill wiped out when it came to Medicare, Medicaid, and all of the social safety nets, the funding for hospitals and stuff. They are trying to look out for Americans, and not just Democratic Americans, but all Americans. What the Republicans did with the one big beautiful BS of a bill was some BS, and it's harming people. So Democrats are saying, look, y'all gonna have to talk to us, and this is what's going to have to happen. So go ahead and chime in and let me know what you think about this.
President Trump. Schumer.